Welcome to the first of many updates that we're going to be getting for the rest of 2025. The Hunter's Instinct has returned, it's revamped, and we're going to be going through that, as well as all the updates that we can expect for the rest of 2025. So without further ado, boom. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into the revamped Hunter's Instinct after we go over what the rest of 2025 has in store for us, because there are some wild things that we are going to be getting over the next couple of months that seriously have me the most excited that I've been for Last Day on Earth in years. So without further ado, welcome to the Roadmap 2025 Part 2. Our plans for July, December 2025. Not my plans, this is the developers' plans, although I plan on playing these things. Hey, survivors, it is time for the Last Day on Earth roadmap for the rest of 2025, and here we have an image that is going to be recapping with a bunch of additional details down below. But for a very high-level recap, we could be expecting the Hunter's Instinct, which we have literally just gotten this week. The delivery service revamp, which actually has been mentioned in a previous roadmap, so we'll have some additional details on that. Operation Purge, which has me very interested. Clans, a star, but clans are already in the game. What if I told you that by the sounds of it, clans are actually coming to the regular part of the game and not the abandoned Sector 7 crater that has been like non-updated with no love for 2 to 3 years at this point, because that's what it sounds like. The Halloween event, the Black Friday event, and Christmas event, the usual holiday events that we can expect near the end of the year. But in the midst of that, a little something known as scouting, which actually sounds like it might be the return of something that we had many years ago in the game via the prison location and the kind of progressive system leading up to that. We'll go over that a little bit more in a couple of minutes. And of course, the big kahuna of this all, the new region with the Genesis Collection update for an additional Genesis Collection specific to the Swamp region, new locations in the region, new items, new bosses, the typical things that we have seen with the Northern Winter region and with the Northern, Island regions being added to the game. It does appear like there's going to be a similar revamp coming to the Swamp zone, which hopefully accompanying that, as we have seen with the previous regions, there will be additional story chapters to help you build your ATV, progress you through your ATV, and then once you build your ATV, probably a second chapter of actually exploring this new region. So without further ado, let's start breaking things down. The Hunter's Instinct, the event beloved by the Wastelands Hunters, is coming back to the game, and it is actually already back. We will fix bugs and broken quests from the previous release and recalculate the balance. Thank you for your feedback. Together, we'll make the Hunter's Instinct even more fun, and we can actually break down, once we go over the rest of this roadmap, exactly what has happened with the rebalancing so far from the dev notes. It seems promising, but we'll also be checking that out firsthand. But then we start to get into the new stuff. And also, there's something interesting about the order of these updates that I'll be going over that actually I think serves as a big hint as to approximately when we can expect each of these features in an update. But without further ado, the delivery service. We mentioned this event last time. It was slightly moved. You'll be arranging and supervising deliveries straight from your home location. So this is going to be in replacement of the existing delivery service over in the port laboratory, where you have to craft those crates and then send them out and do that whole shindig. Yeah, it does appear like it's going to be getting a revamp, but you'll be able to actually do deliveries straight from your home location. You'll be promptly supplying the Wastelands factions with all of the essentials, and you'll be able to exchange your accumulated resources, which are cluttering up your chests, for something more useful, such as weapons, dogs, genome, or blueprints. So this sounds very interesting, because it almost seems like this revamped delivery service, you actually might be able to deliver your accumulated resources, which just sounds like a lot of the random loot that you have already existing in your base. Like, the wording on this is in such a way where it might actually be alluding to the fact that you'll be able to essentially deliver anything in a supply thing, and the way, and then, you know, you can swap them for something more useful, such as weapons, dogs, genome, or blueprint. It almost seems to me like essentially you'll be able to swap any of the resources you want, put them into like the delivery service, or if that's like via a pickup truck or some sort of like other thing that will now be available at your base. You can put in literally any loot that you want, And by the sounds of this, it might be that each loot item has a certain like value associated with it, you know? And there might be like some sort of new delivery service currency system where, let's say, you can turn in nuts and bolts for 5 delivery service points in a delivery. You can turn in an engine part for 50 points, just as a rough example. And then once those deliveries succeed, you might be able to then exchange those delivery service points for something more useful, such as weapons, dogs, genomes, or blueprints. Kind of similar to the way a lot of currency works in existing events, you know, like the commune event, like the anomaly season event, kind of like the genome event, where you'll be able to accrue this new delivery service currency via exchanging your existing resources and then turn it in and exchange it for things at the supply market, such as weapons, dogs, genome, or blueprints. So very interested to see how this turns out. And if we make our way back over to the roadmap 2025 part 1, you can actually see some additional details about this delivery update, because originally this was supposed to come in the first half of 2025, but it does appear like it's been slightly delayed, which is actually a bit of a hint that this is probably going to be one of the first of all of these updates that we get throughout the year. There's also another thing that alludes to that I'll be going over in a little bit, but long story short, we have some additional information on this event here, where the delivery event will be thoroughly revised from the current event. You'll be able to organize and coordinate the delivery of valuable cargo, not only in the port, but also from your home location. Certain cargo you will have to transport on your own. As a part of this activity, you'll be able to exchange your surplus of resources for something more useful. But the interesting thing that this part of the roadmap mentions that the new one doesn't, and why I really wanted to call it out, certain cargo you'll have to transport on your own. It almost seems like you won't just be swapping these items, but you might literally need to like build deliveries and then go out on these like kind of mini quests of actually protecting those deliveries, which is honestly, dude, that sounds like it's gonna be pretty fun. Now, hopefully it's not ridiculously difficult or something like that, but it would be, you know, I could definitely see it being like a cool little quest where they send you out and you have to like, you know, guard the, guard the truck, make sure it doesn't get swarmed by too many zombies, maybe a little mini boss at the end of it all. Obviously, hopefully, if that is the case, they don't make it too difficult, because that's always the fine balance. You want to make things fun, but you don't want to make them so difficult where people hate doing them, or that they are, you know, just not worth the while. But this is an interesting thing to call out. Definitely wanted to point it out to y'all here. Anyways, onwards. Operation Purge. Genesis needs volunteers for the zombie population control. Clear the locations of the undead and claim unique rewards. We'll also update the Genesis collection and add a general section. In the first iteration, it'll include a fridge and its upgrades, as well as blueprints for upgrading the storage for explosives and dog crate. So we actually get confirmation that there will now be the ability to upgrade your storage for explosives and dog crate, both of which we'll see how those upgrades exactly work. I wonder if the dog crate just means it can hold more dogs, or maybe there'll be something where like they grow faster, maybe some sort of actually functional upgrades versus just storage upgrades. But regardless, it does appear like dog crate upgrades are on the way, and it will be able to upgrade the storage for explosives for anyone who has gotten this special item. I don't know if you guys know this, it's good. You know, it can stack C4 up to 10 and other things up to 50. But I'm not gonna lie, it's not as good as a lot of the other specialized storage like this, where it stacks things up to 300. So I'm not gonna lie, being able to upgrade this could really have some value, because like currently, out of the specialized storage chests, such as, you know, the medical cabinet and stuff, the limit of 50 on this is kind of whack, so being able to upgrade this is definitely promising. But anyways, that's besides the point. They'll also be adding a new themed backpack skin, character skin, and vinyl record. Now, we don't get a lot of information about this itself, you know? I mean, they do also mention that they're gonna upgrade the Genesis collection and add a general section. So what exactly does that mean? That probably means that, you know, you have the northern region section, you have the island region section. Since you are now able to get genome from a lot of like events outside of just doing these new regions, it does appear like they'll probably just have like a third tab for the general region, and of course a fourth tab for the swamp region that we'll be going over here shortly. But probably a general tab with some of the less specialized things. They mentioned the fridge, you know, they mentioned some upgrades for dog crates and storage for explosives and stuff like that. But yeah, that's kind of the deal with that. But then otherwise, not really a lot to go off of here. Genesis needs volunteers for the zombie population control. Clear the locations of the undead and claim unique rewards. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of just sounds like the anomaly season. Isn't that exactly what we did? We went to, that's what the anomaly season had us go to. We went to locations, we had to clear out specific zombies, and we claimed rewards. So I don't know if it's gonna be the anomaly season coming back with a different name, and maybe it's just gonna keep coming back with a different name, or if there's actually gonna be some sort of nuance to this, but very vague, not a lot to go off of besides some of the rewards that we will be getting from it. But yeah, we gotta clear locations of the undead and claim unique rewards. That's kind of the limit of my speculation there. I'm curious though, let me know what you guys think about this, because this is like seriously such an open-ended point. A lot of these other things have a lot more details to it, but Operation Purge is like by far the most vague out of all of this. So I'm curious what y'all gotta say in that comment section down below, along with just in general y'all's thoughts around this roadmap, around some of the updates that we can expect and all that jazz. And here is where I am a little bit more excited, and where I think the prison from a previous season, I forget exactly the season, but a long time ago, I'm talking like back when seasons actually had unique stuff going on with them and they weren't just the season pass with a couple of extra rewards. I think the prison might be coming back, or at least a system similar to the prison via scouting. We're preparing some really big locations, plural, for you. They will need to be explored on a bike and on foot. We're trying to make the gameplay as fun and varied as we can. Various points of interest will be generated in locations. To reach and complete them, you'll decide on methods of achieving your goals based on your experience and gaming style. Whether to risk it and drive through a zombie horde, or do some recon and force first, or maybe just choose a less eventful bypass. Whether to go full stealth, quietly eliminating enemies, or walk through the front door with a full arsenal, or maybe find a secret barricaded manhole and clear with a hatchet, it's all up to you. The bike will become your key assistance in this activity. Some of the loot you'll only be able to transport out on a bike. It will also be getting a new upgrade, and we plan to introduce a new upgrade that will differ from the existing one and add to it, whatever that exactly means. We want to unlock the bike's potential to the fullest because it's one of the survivors' most reliable friends in the wasteland. So this sounds huge. There are two ways to interpret this, and you know, it sounds like there's gonna be multiple very big locations. Of course, it being very big locations makes me think that it might be locations like kind of big, like Hallmark zombie survival open world type locations. You know, like we already have places like the police station, we already have places like the farm, military bunker. So I think this might kind of be in line with that, where it might be something like, you know, a prison, a hospital, maybe even finally getting the suburbs up in the north, because honestly, dude, the suburbs kind of seem like they would fall in line with this, where it would be a really big location. And also, to get to the suburbs, you need the bike anyway, so that actually kind of lines up, and this might finally be where the suburbs do come into play. Potentially, especially because they mentioned various points of interest will be generated in locations. So it might literally be that it is locations such as the suburbs that have like randomly that are kind of randomly generated every time. And there are going to be like, it's going to be such a big location like the suburbs that you are going to be able to, you know, finish whatever you got to do there in a variety of different ways, just due to the sheer size and scope of the location. But then on the other hand, they talk about you'll have to decide on methods of achieving your goals based on your experience and gaming style. In addition to this whole kind of some really big locations, also the fact that it's locations plural, I think that it might be a variety of things such as the suburbs, but also, like I was saying, you know, potentially new locations like the hospital, new locations like the prison, or returning locations like the prison. And the reason that I say that is because if we go back a long time ago to that prison season, the way that it worked was actually very similar to kind of what they're describing here. Like here they talk about picking an approach of your choice, whether you want to go for stealth, quietly eliminating enemies, or walking through the front door, going guns blazing. You know, you're kind of like, the whole idea around these locations are going to be choosing your approach to things. And yeah, those old prison, like that old prison season, literally it started out by you choosing essentially how you wanted to approach a raid of the prison, similar to what they're talking about here with your choices. And you know, do you want to go in stealthfully? Do you want to go in guns a-blazing? You actually had to choose an approach of doing it stealthfully or going in guns a-blazing. In addition to that, there were some choices leading up to it that you had to do, kind of like, you know, like prep, you know, like you had to prepare for the giant prison raid at the end of it all. And so you had to kind of complete goals along the way to ultimately make your way towards the final big bad raid at the end of the rainbow, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, so to speak. And yeah, depending on the path that you chose, there was a different set of tasks that you had to complete along the way. And then ultimately, your final raid on the prison actually ended up looking completely different based on the way that you did it. Because if you wanted to go in, you know, stealthfully, you actually, fun fact, had to go, like they talk about in this dev blog, find a manhole cover and clear and kind of like hot and sneak through it and do things sneaky, or just go in guns a-blazing through the front door. And ultimately at the end, you were then able to get some loot in the form of these chests that you had to carry to your chopper. Doesn't that sound similar to what they talk about here, where the bike will become your key assistance in this activity? Some of the loot you will only be able to transport out on a bike. That sounds exactly like how the prison season actually worked. So to me, there's a lot of similarities here. Obviously a couple of differences of where it might play out differently due to like the scale of the locations. They talk about really big locations, plural, so that's why I'm thinking there might be multiple types of places like the prison that you might be able to do something like this. Or again, maybe they go down the path of the suburbs and it is, you know, like a very big location with a bunch of randomly generated components to it, or big locations that are randomly generated to kind of you know, like maybe the prison at the end of like this whole quest line or whatever has some randomly generated components, because last time around it was the same at the end of the day. The only thing that mattered was if you did it stealthfully or guns a-blazing. But maybe they make things a little bit more randomly generated and there's some more variety at the final kind of step of this scouting event / scouting feature. But regardless, again, the similarities with the bikes and transporting things out is at the end of the prison, like once you succeeded it, you essentially had a timer and you had to try to carry out as many chests as you could and load them out on your raiding party's bike. And then depending on how many chests that you brought out, that affected the rewards that you would get. Now here, it sounds like instead of like affecting the rewards that you get, because previously the one bummer about that season, you never got to open the chest. They just gave you badges that you could then turn in for some, like I think skins or something like that. This sounds a little bit different, and like, you know, some of the loot you'll only be able to transport out on a bike. It sounds similar to, you know, some of the big loot at the end of these raids you will have to take out on the back of your bike, but then you might actually be able to open up these chests at the end of the day, you know? So it's not just gonna be like, oh, I can trade in this chest for a couple of badges. It might actually be, oh, once I get back to base, I can open this chest, and inside of this chest will be a ton of rewards, and that is exciting, because at the end of the day, man, that's why we love doing things like raiding. That's why we love going on bunker runs. That's why we love doing these things with rewarding rewards at the end of it all. We love to loot, and by the sounds of it, this sounds like it might, again, the scouting thing sounds like it might be you going out on your bike, having to make some dynamic decisions at some big locations like a prison, like a hospital, like the suburbs, and then ultimately at the end of it all, there's gonna be some sort of like probably boss at the end of it all, and then you have to, once you defeat him, the rewards that you bring back, one of them can be on the back of your chopper in the form of some sort of a giant loaded chest that you can then bring back to base, crack open, and see what's inside. So I'm very excited, and again, a lot of parallels with the prison. Now, a couple of differences too, but I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in that comment section down below. If you think this might be the prison, if you think it might be similar to the prison in some ways, if you think it might be something completely different, if you think it might be the suburbs idea where the suburbs location has randomly generated buildings each time, which kind of would make sense with the random generation, because, you know, the suburbs, it literally makes sense. It's probably going to be a series of buildings on like a suburban downtown or something. And it'll depend each time you go there, which will kind of add to some of that uniqueness factor. A lot of ways that this could go. I'm very excited for whatever way that it might be. Definitely let me know y'all's thoughts around this one, because this has a lot of potential. And of course, some of these bike upgrades, a new bike upgrade that will differ from the existing one and add to it. Dude, I wonder if they might like add the ability to hold more storage in the back, because they talk about some of the loot you can only transport back out on the bike. So maybe it'll be important to upgrade your bike so it can actually like hold more loot in the back. I don't know, but it does seem like this is gonna be very bike focused, and we're gonna get some new big locations, which I'm super excited for. But then on to clans! This item is marked with an asterisk because we want to experiment with the clan functionality. We'll try to design a co-op for special locations. But what? This is already in Sector 7 and the crater. That's why this matters. I don't want to restart my computer right now, Windows. That's why this matters. Because by special location co-op, dude, this whole point They're talking about doing this in the single player world of Last Stand on Earth as we know it, the existing locations that we have, not the crater, not Sector 7. We'd like to introduce an inter-clan competition feature so that everyone on the Wastelands knows whose faction is the strongest and most influential, featuring rewards, of course. We'd like to discuss this idea with you soon. We'll publish a post and we'll be reading your comments on the subject very attentively. Stay tuned. But again, we'll try to design co-op for special locations. This to me sounds like the reason that I want to say that this is in single player and not in the multiplayer side, the existing crater Sector 7, is because you already have co-op there. So this wouldn't, this is one of the most important points of this paragraph. This already exists in Sector 7. So if they're doing this, it sounds like they want to do it in single player, and maybe by special locations what they mean is kind of similar to, I don't know if you guys have ever played like Frostborn or anything like that, but you are essentially able to do some locations like co-op, you know, like you're able to go in with like your, is it called a clan in that game? I don't entirely remember, it's been a long time since I've touched Frostborn, but it sounds to me like they kind of want to bring it in line with some of the other games under the Kefir umbrella, such as Frostborn. So very interested to see how this plays out, but yeah, it sounds to me like they want to design a way to do co-op for specific locations, and if I had to guess, probably some of the harder locations in the game, like maybe Bunker Bravo co-op, Bunker Alpha co-op, something like that. Maybe they start with just like some regular resource zones, but to me, this sounds like they're going down that path. Also, this competition feature where maybe depending on the co-op that you do, you're able to get points for your clan in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And then at the end of the week, end of the month, you get rewards based on your leaderboard position, which sounds pretty cool, especially depending on the rewards. Or the other way that this could go, we'll try to design a co-op for special locations. I mean, maybe this also means that in multiplayer, they just add more co-op locations, and maybe they finally add in like the nuclear power plant that's been teased for the longest time, or like the oil rig that's been teased for the longest time in the Sector 7 world map. But the wording to me, and the fact that they haven't dropped a multiplayer update in like years at this point, makes me think that this is more leaning towards the single player side and enabling co-op for some locations in the single player part of Last Day on Earth, which I'm excited for. But let me know what y'all think and how y'all take this bullet point, because again, there's a little bit of ambiguity, but I'm leaning more towards us getting co-op for special locations in the Wastelands, because they say they want everyone in the Wastelands to know, not everyone in like the crater or Sector 7, so maybe that's like another hint. But again, this paragraph to me, it reads like single player locations like the bunker, like the police station, like the port laboratory hard mode. Who knows, you might be able to team up with people to do in a co-op fashion, and then it'll be interesting to see how that affects loot, how you can split up loot, all that stuff. Or again, just new locations in multiplayer, but we have not had a new update in multiplayer for so long, so I don't see why they would start giving it love again out of nowhere. But if they do, this will probably translate to like a special, unique, like something that I've been asking for a long time, like a bunker type location or something where, you know, it's like many floors, big co-op location, you know, the nuclear reactor, oil rig, some sort of special location where you can do co-op. Again, some ambiguity. We'll see. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Halloween! What kind of an autumn would it be if we didn't celebrate All Hallows Eve with updated rewards, unique skins, and something interesting for the home location? Honestly, same old Halloween event every year. Not much to take out of there. The Swamp region, the third big Wastelands region. We're making a full set of new stuff for it. There will be new items in the Genesis collection, new locations, new items, bosses. You will need an ATV for traveling, and we'll be sharing details as we create content for the region. So we'll actually go to the world map and maybe kind of, you know, go over this a little bit more. And then Black Friday will be dropping, the biggest sale of the year in the Wastelands. Wide selection, low prices, just a sale at the end of November. And then the Winter of Despair. Such a threatening event doesn't mean that there's no place or time for celebrating Christmas in the zombie apocalypse. You can expect new themed quests, rewards, skins, and lots of snow. This is what our plans for the rest of 2025 look like. We'll try to stick to them, but sometimes unforeseen moments can occur during development, so something might be rescheduled or canceled altogether. Now there y'all have it. Now another thing that I want to point out as a bit of a hint. To me, it seems like this is in chronological order for a couple of reasons. One, Hunter's Instinct is the first things mentioned here. We literally just got Hunter's Instinct a couple of days ago. Number two, look at these points here. Halloween, Black Friday, Winter of Despair. Chronologically, this happens at the end of October, this happens at the end of November, this happens in December. Timeline-wise, that makes sense. Using this assumption, what does that mean? Boggy region, probably going to be a November update because it should be coming after Halloween, but before Black Friday. What does that mean? That they kind of want the rest of these features, these 4 things here, essentially to drop during or before October. And essentially at this point, dude, it's almost August, which means that in the next 3 months, probably we'll be getting these things. Now the clans kind of seems like, you know, they want to experiment with it. So this is kind of the wild card. But I would say what it seems like to me is either we get delivery service in August, Operation Purge in September, and then scouting in October, followed by Halloween with clans at some point potentially along the way, or a couple of these things are combined together in one, like maybe the delivery service and Operation Purge drop at the same time in August, then scouting drops in September, clans in October, Halloween, you know, at the very end of October, Boggy region in November, Black Friday at the very end of November, and then Winter of Despair in December. So some potential hints into the way that this timeline could be playing out. But there y'all have the roadmap, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Now let's go over to the world map, because I do want to kind of go over what we could expect out of the swamp region based off of what we know about how the existing regions have played out. So again, the swamp region, if we make our way over here, currently exists of 2 resource zones and a watchtower. Now, if we make our way up to the northern regions, or these regions in general, the way that this appears to play out, there are 4 locations that can have quests. We have this, we have this, we have this, and then a random event that appears around the map, and then the watchtower. Over here in the island region, we have the port laboratory where you can get quests. You have these 3 islands, and you have the watchtower. Both of them have a location for your boss battle. So it sounds like to me that there are going to be 5 locations total. This doesn't count. This is for the Free King. This is for the event going on right now. And if I had to guess, this location will actually migrate to the swamps, because it would make sense. It's got like alligators and stuff like that. Instead of being like a swamp island, it would actually just be like a swamp location in the revamped swamp region. But anyways, I digress. Whatchamacall, the way that I foresee this working is that we'll still have the watchtower, we'll have these 2 locations, but then it sounds like, again, they want to add new locations from what they were saying, so we'll probably get some sort of additional variety. And how exactly does that look? I don't entirely know, man. Like, it's probably gonna be some combination. I mean, here we have 3 resource type zones, here we have 3 resource type zones. Then the port laboratory, which is like a unique kind of one-time location. So maybe we get some sort of unique location like the port laboratory, like, or, you know, potentially we get similar to the northern zone. Sometimes an event pops up that you can go to, or like a specific one-time temporary zone. Probably, I think that would make more sense for the swamp region. We'll get some sort of temporary zone here as well. And then, of course, some sort of a big, bad swamp monster boss battle at the end of it all. And again, you'll have to go to the watchtower. They'll probably revamp the watchtower to make it some sort of a more exciting boss fight, because the watchtower in the island region got revamped. This one wasn't as revamped, but they did kind of like add a new boss and stuff like that. So probably some changes to the watchtower. And then, of course, there will be quests all throughout this region. And then as you do your quests, you will make your way towards unlocking the boss battle at the end of the region. And then that boss battle will, of course, be a way that you get a ton of points. And then you will be able to unlock new rewards within the swamp region section that will be added, in addition to, of course, new things that we'll get. We'll probably get additional types of upgrades. We'll probably get, based off of this, probably some sort of a new dog, some sort of new dog equipment, probably things that specialize for, again, the swamp region will probably have enemies with new types of armor, so probably some dog equipment to specialize attacking that new armor, probably some weapon and blueprints to help us specialize attacking that new armor, some sort of a new trophy, some sort of new decorative equipment storages, new upgrades, and new outfits, and then probably some sort of a big thing, kind of like how the northern region has the repair workbench. That's kind of like the big thing of the northern region. The island region has your storage for equipment, probably some sort of a big kahuna that you want to go after with the swamp region as well. But there y'all have it. a breakdown of the roadmap. Let me know what y'all think in that comment section down below. Obviously, a lot to take in, a lot to go over, and a lot of stuff to be excited for in the second half of 2025. Hopefully, y'all are as excited as me, and hopefully, if you are, make sure that you are subscribed with that notification bell hit to stay in the loop with all things Last Day on Earth as we go ahead and continue checking these out, continue providing y'all the news about these updates as they drop, the whole shebang and all that jazz coming your way. But otherwise, we are back here at the Hunter's Instinct event. Now, if you want to see us go through the Hunter's Instinct event, at its core, it's going to be similar to what we checked out the last time when it was around a couple of months ago. So be sure to check out those videos. There should be like links in the description or links in like the bubble in the top right-hand corner of the screen if you hit that little information bubble with like some pop-ups coming up, because at its core, it should be very similar to that, where you'll be able to progress your way through here, get your hands on a bunch of rewards. But again, the core difference is that there are some differences. What are those differences, you might add? The amount of points required to complete the event has been reduced. Points for reputation items have been redistributed, whatever exactly that means, we'll see shortly. We've corrected certain quests. For example, you don't have to hunt down the boar in the northern region with a crossbow anymore. Thank goodness, because they have ice armor and the crossbow doesn't hurt ice. That was such an annoying quest, so that's good to hear. The number of foxtails and bear claws that get dropped out of the animals has increased. Huge dub, because fighting bears was so freaking annoying up in the north, and foxes were also a little bit annoying to hunt down. Not as annoying, but still kind of annoying. Prices in the trophy market have changed. We believe the event turned out to be too demanding of the player's time, so we've decreased the number of points required for its completion. It'll get easier to get key rewards from now on. Huge dub by the sounds of it. We've updated the system of trading with the fishermen, where the system has been revised in such a way that you can now exchange fish by the piece. For example, if you catch 3 out of 4 fish, you can still exchange them for abrasive. You'll just get less of it, and the quantity of burley is dropped from the insane 20 that you needed to 5 to refresh the pond. In addition to revising the system for trading with the fishermen and reevaluating the rewards, we've also reduced the cost of refreshing the pond. This change will make the event more accessible. By the sounds of it, all great changes. Now, there might be some sort of hidden changes, or maybe these were worded in such a way where they actually are not as good as they sound. But if we make our way over here, I mean, unfortunately, I am not level 30 of the ecologist so far, but the fact that this is a reoccurring event means that I got the titanium extractor last time. This means I can get my hands on the aluminum or the copper extractor this time around. And from what they said, it sounds like they will be cheaper. So if y'all know what the price are for these, of course, drop that in the comment section down below. Help out the community so people can try and check and just see what's going on and kind of like where some of those key changes might be, which is currently, I'm not the level to check exactly what's going on there. And they also mentioned something about the points, which probably means if we go here, 10, 16, and 24. How different is that from what it was before? All right, so this actually compared to previously, the biggest difference, these used to be 6 points, now you get 10 a pop. These used to be 15, now you get 16. These used to be 25, now you get 24. So more or less, these two changed by like a point, and honestly, if you're maxing out these two, that's gonna come out to be about the same. The biggest difference is that the lowest tier of items give you a lot more points than before. Although, interestingly enough, to finish the first level of the ecologist before, it took 20 points, and now it takes 90. So I am a little bit suspicious of what exactly this means and how that will play out. Let me know in that comment section down below if y'all may have noticed something, but right off the bat, the first level went from 20 points to 90. So I'm curious. They said that they made it easier and that it takes less points. And obviously, these give you more points now, but I don't know, dude. At least level 1, maybe it changes as you level up, but level 1 taking 90 points is a little bit sus. But long story short, let's see. We gotta, of course, go over here and talk to the fisherman. Gerard's got a new apprentice. Well, let's see what you've got. You're gonna send me fishing. If you catch me some fish, I'll help you with ore for your weapons. Deal, deal. And then if I go ahead and talk to you, I gotta catch unusual fish. All right. Well, can I steal this fishing rod? No, I gotta get one. Okay. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a professional, the most professional that you've ever seen. The fishing rod is professional. I've seen a lot of fishing rods. Not many like this. Professional. That's me. Let's get fishing and catch some sort of unusual fish, shall we? What do we got inside of here? It's probably gonna be the same fish as last time around. Again, probably not a lot has changed with this event. We got the golden carp over here. Thank you very kindly for that. and we can now exchange it here. And yes, they have revamped how the system works, so you can actually whatchamacall, yeah, just depending on the fish you catch, you actually get, oh, new items appear in 5 seconds. What the heck does that mean? Does that just mean, oh, it refreshes every 15 seconds? So I think what this means is if I swap that for a fish right there in 15 seconds, I'll be able to get another one out of him. Is that how that works? Yes, no, maybe so. And also, dude, I'm curious. Yeah, that is exactly how that works. I am curious, although I'm not gonna lie, dude, the fact that it takes 40 coins to purchase any of these, isn't that how much that it took before? Except you would get 6 abrasive for it. So actually from a paid player's perspective, using coins on this may have gotten worse, but from a free-to-play player's perspective, it may have gotten better, or like, it's probably roughly about the same though, because from what I recall, didn't you have to turn in, whatchamacall? Didn't you have to turn in like one of each fish and you would end up getting 6 abrasive out of it? Whereas now it's you just turn in 1 fish at a time, and depending on the fish that you turn in, you get some abrasive. At least that's what it seems like to me. I guess we'll just gotta keep doing a little bit of fishing here and try to find that out. And as we are doing that, make sure you all also go ahead and go to the link at the very top of the description. Twitch.tv/Starsnipe, when we're live every single Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, playing Last on Earth, having a ball, having a blast, and kicking the weekend off right every single week, same time, same place over at Twitch.tv/Starsnipe. If you don't know what time that starts in your local time zone, Twitch.tv/Starsnipe schedule will be able to go ahead and help you out once you know what time that it starts in your local time zone. That's the same time that it is starting every single week, same time, same place over there. So looking forward to seeing some of you boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen there, because it is always a great, grand old time. And okay, so that is all the burly that we have used. It's a great grand old time and a great way of kicking the weekend off right with the face cam on and with the live chat rolling, making for a just great way that y'all can interact with me literally live, and I can see y'all and respond to y'all. Y'all can interact with the chat, and y'all can literally see my face as we're doing it all, and again, just having a great time to kick the weekend off. But okay, here's the interesting thing now. It appears that something else has changed, because we did not get any rainbow trout. We got 6 abrasive, and there are no more fish. So it still appears like you might only get 6 abrasive a time unless you get like lucky and you get like more of the rare fish. I don't know exactly how that works, but yeah, to me it seems like that. Something seems up with that. That seems a little bit intriguing, to say the least. Now, I do want to go hunt some foxes and some bears because those specifically supposedly drop more stuff, but yeah, we went ahead and traded that in and it already jumps up to 130. So I'm curious to see as we level up that reputation exactly how that plays out. But yeah, interestingly enough, you need more right off the bat, but you also do get more points for like leather and stuff. So like I don't know, jury's out there. I don't entirely know what to make of that quite yet, but let's make our way up to the bears. Let's see what's going on there, shall we? Okay, and I actually just referenced against an old video. So here's the thing. Yeah, level 1 took 20 points, but then level 2 already takes 140 points. And I believe from what we just saw, if my memory serves correctly, my memory's that shot. I already forgot 30 seconds ago. I think it took 130 points now to get up to level 2. So that may have been clickbait. I apologize. That may have been a bit of clickbait. It actually, oh no, I have the wrong armor on. This is not good. I totally forgot to put on the right armor for what we are about to do. Just kidding. I have the right armor on. I'm a genius. But yeah, it does appear. Oh, I forgot to freaking mod this though. I know this quest to say to craft a hunting spear on a bench grinder, yada yada yada, but listen, we've already done all these quests pretty much. They did mention, I mean, there's a couple of quests that were difficult that did get to be a little bit easier. We'll get around to those. I'm not gonna be able to get the boar quest today probably, but it sounds like, you know, they probably just changed it to use like the new Scorcher weapon instead of killing the boars with that. Also, the fact that my spears are still here is interesting because that actually, does that mean that everything from last time stuck around here? I am, oh no, wait a minute. Why did I do that? This is already good. What I'm looking for is to get our spore rifle and put the goods onto that. Thank you very kindly. And yeah, from the 6 that we got, it appears like we might only be able to create 1 weapon per day, which is kind of an L. I swear we were able to get more abrasive previously, unless, I mean, I guess we can go to the mines and use the titanium extractor and stuff like that. But the other thing that I wanted to check because my spear was still in there. Does that mean this stuff's still in here? Whatever was in here is still in here, except for probably all the items that, all the event items, they probably expire. Yeah, they disappear. I thought maybe because we left them here, they didn't disappear. No, they definitely did disappear. But yeah, I don't know. Level 2 at least took less reputation than it did last time. So that's a little bit interesting. So yeah, I don't know. Level 1 for some reason just took 90 points instead of 20, but the rest of the levels actually make complete and total sense so far. Like level 2, it's cheaper than it was before, but level 1 was more expensive. So maybe level 1 just starts a little bit more aggressively, but it actually does take less over time. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, now we are actually back at this location. Let's make our way in, and again, like, the thing is, it's kind of cool to see that it doesn't feel like the Hunter's Instinct has become like a reoccurring event, because the fact that it's back already, it sounds to me like this is gonna keep coming back every couple of months, similar to the fair and similar to some of the other events that, you know, like the commune that reoccur every once in a while. Like, that's kind of the vibes that this is giving me now, which is definitely encouraging, man. I am always happy to have more events and more ways to just be getting your hands on little bonus loots and stuff like that. But why don't we go and take down a couple of these guys here. There's gonna be a wolf up here that I suppose I can use this thing on to take down, and we can turn in a little bit of that wolf fur, although I wouldn't really recommend using this spore rifle on those guys. I think it's slightly a little bit of a waste. I don't see the bears at the moment. Oh, there's a bear. Bloody heck. Oh no, but there's also like a lot of other enemies trying to take me down, and I don't want to accidentally shoot. Oh my goodness, there are so many of them. There's another free, that's the one thing I hate about this location, dude. All these spore spitters running around. Obnoxious, but okay, we've got a wandering bear. Hello, wandering bear. I've got bullets that are wandering straight into your body. Get the heck over here. And oh no, we are suffering a little bit from that hit. But let's go and make you explode, and let's see, how much are you dropping now? They're dropping 5 bear claws. Okay, so it went from 4 to 5, which actually does matter, because that means if there are still 2 bears per location, now I don't know if that's true, we still gotta find the second one, but that means if there are 2 bears per location, you only have to come to this location 2 times to get enough bear claws, whereas previously you would have to come 2.5 times. So we'll see exactly what the deal with that is, because, okay, yeah, we got the wandering bear. Okay, so yeah, that's actually a bit of a dub if you ask me as well. Now you only need to come to this location 2 times and you'll get enough stuff and you can leave. That's pretty sweet. I will continue taking out the spore wolf though. I don't really care about your freaking armor. I'm just gonna take it that way, thank you, and get out of there. So yeah, you only have to come here twice to get your 20, your stack of 20 for the day, and then turn that in. Whereas previously you would only, because now, again, we just got 10 from that location. Previously, you would only get 8. So you would have to go there 2.5 times technically. What does that actually mean? One time you go there twice, next time you gotta go there 3 times. Then after that, 2 times, then after that, 3 times. Essentially, you gotta defeat 5 bears to get enough claws for a day's worth of loot. Now it's been changed, and you only have to defeat, whatchamacall? Oh, I gotta get my freaking armor for the winter zone. You only have to defeat 4 bears, and you'll have enough for the day. And because there's 2 bears per location, you only have to go to that location twice. So, makes it a bit easier for some of y'all who are at the stage where you have your boat and you are hunting the bears. So that's good. All right, we're in the location. We're immediately being attacked by a toxic spewer, or not, a toxic spitter. What's new? Anyways, we should just be able to hunt these dudes with the regular old crossbow. And of course, let's make sure that we are, I mean, if I had enough abrasive to mod one of the machetes, I could have done that. But why don't we also make sure to get sneaky deaky like? This will make our lives a little bit easier. Wait, there was just a fox here. Where have you gone, Mr. Fox? Oh no, there's freaking toxic spitters, that's for sure. Let's go and take a couple of these dudes down, and then let's get to the bottom of exactly how our foxy friends have changed. Hello, Mr. Fox. No, don't go towards the wolf. I don't want to. No! I thought I switched guns. I didn't. That's annoying. What up, direwolf? Let's go and take you down really quickly. Beep! Thank you for the hair. I will be turning that in eventually. And the annoying thing is, foxes have 80 health. This crossbow, 70 damage. Really, the best way of taking down the fox is using some sort of melee weapon and sneak attacking it. I'll be sure to do that next time. I just did not have access to such a weapon at the moment. But that will change. Hello, hello, Mr. Direwolf. Oh, there's a fox in a trap. Would you look at that? Hello, Mr. Fox. No, get back here. All right, I think I sniped him from across the freaking map, so he should be in good shape. Oh, no, not you. Get out of here. Stupid freaking zombies swarming me from 500 miles away. I'm getting shot at by a poacher. Mr. Poacher, please. Your weaponry does not frighten me. Get the heck out of here. And then we got the crossbow, and oh, this fox is already ruined. I don't really care about you. But I do care about your friend here. Hello, Mr. Fox. Yes, yes, yes. One more shot, one more shot. Booyah! And what are you dropping? 4 tails. What did they used to drop? Was it 2 or 3? I forget, but it's definitely gone up. And that number is now 4, which means that you should only have to clear 2 of these locations to take out enough foxes. Because I believe there are 3 foxes per location, plus sometimes the fox that is like trapped inside of that little cage. Actually, no, dude. It looks like there's even another fox on top of that. Oh my goodness, yo. There are so many foxes in this zone. I don't... Okay, wait, am I going crazy? Dude, I do not think there were this many foxes previously. Did they add more foxes to some of these locations? Because like 100%, this is the only winter zone that we need to go to get our fox skin now. There is a absurd amount of foxes here. We actually should be able to get like more than a day's worth of fox skin out of this. Okay, hello, Mr. Fast Biter. Let me take you out. Make sure not to accidentally shoot the fox behind you. Hello, Mr. Foxy. Okay, let me go and shoot Mr. Foxy over here. Hello, Mr. Foxy. Goodbye, Mr. Foxy. Hello. Why is there someone being chased over here? What's going on? Okay, he really wanted to shoot me with a bow. Hello, Direwolf. Goodbye to you. Oh my god, there's bodies everywhere. Random person attacking me with a 1 durability hatchet. Frightening. Truly. All right. Hello, Mr. Fox. Let's take you down. Beautiful. And you'll be going down there, dude. Oh my goodness. Something had to have changed. I never remember being able to go to a location and get all the foxes that I need in one go. Unless it was... Oh, you know why? I think there was specifically, potentially, some sort of a quest here where a bunch of foxes spawned. So I think, yeah, because we just finished a quest and it wasn't one of these. Okay, that's why there were so many foxes. Never mind. But nonetheless, typically from what I recall, it should be that there's 3 foxes per zone plus a 4th one if you see it in the cage, which means you should be able to now get 12 to 16 foxes, 12 to 16 of the foxtails per location. Whereas previously, it was definitely less than that. So yeah, you only have to hit up 2 locations. I think previously, I mean, dude, if my math is mathin', I think previously you had to do like a minimum of 3 fox locations to get enough foxtails. Because if the number's gone up and it's now 4, that means before it had to be like 3 or less. And if it was 3 or less and you only got 3 foxes in a location, you would only get 9 foxtails. And that means you would have to go to more than 2 locations, because 2 locations would get you 18 foxtails, which it would not be the full 20 stack that you would need. Unless, again, you found a location with the poacher that had a 4th fox trapped inside of the cage, kind of like we saw there. But we also had the bonus quest going on where we were able to get our hands on a little something extra. But anyways, let's go and put all this stuff in, get our hands on a couple of bonus points, and just vibe, man. Vibe and look at the level that we've reached. Already up to level 5, which is taking 260 points. So definitely solid progress, if you ask me. We'll definitely try to keep going up, and I mean, what do we got? 310 points at level 6. Yeah, dude, I'm looking back at my old video, and level 6 took 430 points, whereas now it's 310. Like, genuinely, yeah, the first level was just clickbait. It took 90 points for level 1, but after that, dude, level 6, previously, 430 points, now 310. Not just that, you can get more points from the first row. Dude, genuinely, it appears, unless this changes in the later levels, but so far from the sample size of like the first 5-6 levels, outside of the first level, every level's easier to get, and you get more points for the most basic things. This is great from the perspective of like free to play and like earlier game players. So that's actually incredibly encouraging, because the last time this event was around, dude, that was a major pain point that a lot of people were not amused with. But I gotta say, so far, this seems pretty amusing. That's all I'm saying. But with that said, with that done, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I do believe that is gonna go ahead and start bringing an end to this episode of Last Day on Earth with the Hunter's Instinct event. Again, we literally just did this in like a previous video, so be sure to check out some of those if you want to see all the quests playing out. It should be the same way. Of course, I'll still try to climb and get my hands on an additional ore extractor, but we've already done essentially all of this event previously. I want to go ahead and cover some of the changes that we saw. And so far, it seems very encouraging in terms of the completability of this event for a lot of players. So that's exciting. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in that comment section down below. Make sure to subscribe with that notification bell hit. And with that said, with that done, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's gonna go to start bringing that into this episode of Last Day on Earth. Thank you guys a whole ton for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one. See ya.